So my suggestion is that when Dr. Maturi is ready and is in with us, Dr. Maturi will do his presentation and the discussants will bring their points. I just would like to, there are 6 discussants. Some are not here. I just see 2 discussants yet. Yes, looks like they're just 2. So if in this case, the discussants are 2, if there are 6, the 6 of all of them are here. 3 with the Dr. Magwati. I would ask you to, when you bring your points, just be short. Otherwise, we will take all our time with Dr. Maturi's presentation, and then my Tisara, Mr. Innocent will not have an opportunity, and Mikash too. So after Dr. Maturi, we will take the discussion just for Dr. Maturi's presentation so he can leave to travel to Namibia. And then we will come back to Mr. Innocent and then to Dr. Mikash. After that, then we go to the full discussion. If everyone agrees with that. Are we all okay with that?
Yeah, sorry, I'm fine with that. Hello, everyone. I came running from something, but I'm here, I'm happy. Yeah, I think it's fine. That's a fine program with me. I'm ready also, but I think we should give Dr. Matura the first opportunity. That's fine with me.
Okay, great. So I will try to just bring some contextualization to what's going on today. We will be discussing around the culture and arts education within this UNESCO's program. And we are aiming to see what's going on in Mozambique and Zimbabwe in regards to musical arts education and the creative economy as well. We have invited speakers who work with within this realm of musical arts. The most important from all this is that all of them look at the arts within a very African perspective. I don't mean that we neglect other approaches to discuss the musical arts, but we look at our context and try to make it at the center of our discussion. This is after our discussion, which we'll have 4 speakers, 4 presenters, and 6 discussants. After the presentations, accepting what I've just introduced on regard to Dr. Maturi, we will listen to the discussants. They will bring their points into the discussion. Afterwards, we will open up for the audience to bring their points as well. The outcomes for this panel is that we'll present a report to the organizers, the main organizers, which is UNESCO. But out of that, also, we aim at publishing, excuse me, because I'm having this issue with YouTube, I will try another way of broadcasting because we are just starting without broadcasting. So probably what I'm going to do is to broadcast to Facebook and share from Facebook to YouTube. Okay, so after this, what we are going to do besides that, we'll present a report to UNESCO, we will be writing a book in which we expect all the speakers from this event to contribute with a chapter of around 6,000 words. And we'll also open a call for chapters from other people working in these areas on culture, creative economy, and musical arts education to bring their contributions. We have agreed the book will be edited by Professor Emily Akuno, and will be co-edited by Professor Emily Akuno and Dr. Matiuri. I've not yet spoken about this with the Dr. Luca Mukavel, but I and him are working in another book now. So I and him will be working in the same task that we are doing, which is to organize the chapters, translating. I mean, most people in Africa speak English. We are very little who speak Portuguese. And we feel like our work will not be worth if people who speak Portuguese-speaking people cannot read what we are writing. So the book will be published in English and Portuguese, because not everyone can do that. I and Professor Dr. Luca will continue to do this translation work. And prefacing will be with Dr. Goodness, I forgot her name. I think because I'm doing so many things at the same time. But she's also from Zimbabwe. That's Dr. Professor. Yeah, that's Professor. She has agreed. Well, I'll remember if. So this is what we expect that may come out from this this meeting. Are you there? Mercy. Mercy, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay. Do you have any word to say as a co-organizer before we start?
Okay, I really don't have much to say because you really covered everything. So should I say anything, it would be a repetition of what you said. So maybe in the interest of time, I think we should just go ahead and start.
Okay. Is Dr. Maturi in already?
Yes, he's in already.
Okay. So,
And can you hear me?
Yes, Dr. Maturi. We are very sorry for the loss that you've been through, and we are very thankful that you are here today with us, and we'll allow you to do your presentation right away. And I will not bring any summary abstracts or do the presentation as such, because we have displayed it in the site just for the sake of saving time, and people can go there and know who our speakers are. But Dr. Permias Maturi is a Zimbabwean citizen who is now working in Namibia. He works on music education and indigenous music, and well, he will speak better with his presentation. After Dr. Maturi's presentation, the discussants will bring their points, and we take it from there. Dr. Maturi, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. I hope you are hearing me. Let me start by apologizing for joining in late. Hey, my Wi-Fi here is problematic, but nevertheless, I was able to join. So I'll embark on a journey as soon as I finish this presentation. So the chair has introduced me. I don't want to waste time now introducing myself again. But let me just read my topic here, which reads access, inclusion in the arts and culture education in Zimbabwe, an overview. So this is just an overview of what aspects of access and inclusion are being handled in Zimbabwe. So I'm going to give you a short, very brief background, followed by conceptualization of certain terms, and I'll raise some fundamental questions whose answers are going to be presented in this presentation. I will talk about methodology, then I'll discuss the issue of access. I'll discuss the issue of inclusion, and probably finish by talking about way forward. What then should we do? And also, I forgot to apologize that I'm not going to be able to share my screen because I'm using the phone, reading on the computer. For some reason, my Zoom, the microphone is not working. So my apology for that. My apologies for that. So as a background, let me start by talking about what we call world cultures. The whole world is full of cultures whose definition falls under the aspect of saying that they've got a number of aspects they put together as attributes, if I can put it as a complex sort of collection of attributes that define them as a people to be called a culture. Whether you are in the East, in the North, in the West, you belong to a certain culture. If we come down to Africa, we are also called Africans because we are defined by certain behaviors, certain idioms, and certain ways of operation. Even if we come down to Zimbabwe, we've got different cultures that are existing there. But then we are saying this culture, for it to survive, it has to be preserved, it has to be transferred from one generation to the other, or depending on the aspects that we are trying to look at. So usually when we talk of culture, we don't leave out aspects of art. I have tried to read around and discover that culture is not enough if art is not involved. So usually in my presentation, I'll be talking about culture versus art as I go, or culture and art. So having talked about culture in Zimbabwe, of course, we have got different cultures and we have got different ethnic groups who have their own different cultures, although there will be some commonalities among them. We find that because of the importance of culture, UNESCO as a body, I will not talk much about it, but I'm saying as a body, there's interest in aspects of culture, there's interest in aspects of arts, and they have a mandate or a vision of contributing to the building of culture, of a culture of peace, the eradication of poverty, sustainable development, the intercultural dialogue through education, the science, also culture itself, communication and information. So UNESCO has got this particular mission, which it has been endeavoring to achieve since its inception. So today, I'm going to talk about how best we can resonate with UNESCO's mission so that we uphold the ethos as well as the sort of demands that the mission has. So one thing that I'm discussing here is called inclusion. I'll just define it and go and then come back to it later. You know, when we talk of inclusion, this is a very common word. We are saying when you are undertaking any activity, who is included in order to make that activity a success. So inclusion is all about talking about who is supposed to be doing what. And then access. Are we having access of what we want? The ability to have what you must have is access. If there are children, are they having access to education? If there are people, are they having access to certain things that they want? So the word access in the context of this discussion will be, are we accessing what we are supposed to access? Are those people who are supposed to access certain aspects that can probably add value to culture, are they doing that? And I'm going to talk about art. Well, art is a common word that we use. You see, it can be visual art, it can be performing art, but as long as a human is manipulating their body in a way that will probably yield some aesthetics that is artistic. And we are saying there are organizations also that look at that. Let me also say, I'm going to talk about organization, art organization as organizations that have something to do with the development, promotion of, and also empowering, whether they are youths or what, on issues of art. Now, what are the fundamental questions that we are worried about? The biggest question that I'm trying to tackle here is, how are the issues of arts and culture handled in Zimbabwe? Remember, this is an overview. And I'm also worried about the beneficiaries. Are they accessing the aspects that can feed into their learning of the culture as well as art? And I'm asking, are we including everyone? Is it inclusive in terms of those who participate in the development of culture and arts, as well as those who are to be developed? Are we also thinking of the handicapped? Are we also thinking of the blind in the process? Are we including all the sectors that must be included, including even the culture bearers in the process of trying to preserve, maintain, and also transfer artistic skills? So I had a methodology that I used in terms of, in order to collect data. One of it is the survey, and I also used online interviews. I also used the desk top method. And what I discovered, although I didn't have enough time, this call was given a very short period of time to prepare, and with the predicament that I came across, this is the little that I got, guys, that we have got the resources that are in place in Zimbabwe that are meant to develop culture, that are meant to address issues of arts. And we also have educational or educational institutions that are also doing that. I'll give you the example of MSU. I'll give the examples, Zembo of University of Zimbabwe. Colleges are also there. We also have non-governmental organizations that are like EASA. They are also there. And we have got colleges, we have got community halls that were erected by the government. We have got theaters. So the question is, let's talk in terms of the youths who are supposed to be developed, who are probably supposed to get the baton stick and hand it over. Are they accessing the resources? Are they getting opportunities to get into the institution in order to learn culture and arts related knowledge? Are they getting access to the indigenous knowledge that is there in the communities? We are seeing now communities halls community halls being transformed to creche, transformed to church where people come? Are we using those community halls for the sake of developing those interested in art? Are we also making sure they are accessing funding? We know there is culture fund, and I was here trying to sometime access it. It was an uphill. You know, it's not easy just to access money, but art is there. We need it to be supported. Are we getting the support from the government? Are we getting the support from all stakeholders? So access is an issue. The access of materials, the access of knowledge, the access of skills is being done, yes, but we need guys to be able to convince everybody else to team up, to be inclusive in it and support the art sector. You would find that inclusion now, I'm about to finish, inclusion now is saying, are we including everyone? The formal institutions, the arts organizations, the arts industry, even the churches, are we including them in trying to develop arts in the youths or in anyone? Are we doing that? So you discover that we need, as way forward, we need to organize or to recognize culture and arts and its related issues. We need to give them a fair share in terms of funding, in terms of manpower. We need to revive the community halls that are dying down. We need to also introduce what we call provincial as well as district, village, and cultural centers. I know one of the presenters is very interested in that. We need to go ahead and do that and create platforms where we also share ideas like we are doing now and do it in an integrative approach. Let's put culture bearers as good gatekeepers. And I think they are the ones that should be able to tell us the story in a correct manner. Let's include them in institutions. Let's invite them, those who can play in blues, invite them and demonstrate. Let's not pretend as if we know as scholars. Let's get some notes from our culture bearers. In conclusion, I call upon responsible sectors to mobilize their efforts in achieving UNESCO's goal of eradicating poverty and enable sustainable development through intercultural dialogue by empowering members in the area of arts and culture. Am I being heard? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, and please,
Yes, we can hear you.
Your time
We
is
can
about
hear you.
to go.
Very interesting.
I
You are
was
being heard
seeing
and your time is about to go.
I was seeing my Kwasha just having some signs. I thought I'm talking to myself. So I think in a nutshell, this is what I can present to you guys. I think I can end here. Over to you, Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Maturi. Thank you for this wonderful
Thank you so much.
presentation. And I would like to invite the discussants to have the opportunity to reflect on Dr. Maturi's presentation. I will not say who, but I would rather suggest that you raise your hand and I will see who raise it first. First come, first serve. So are we all here? I see Dr. Phineas, Dr. Luca. I see Cleliu, I think is around. And Mercy is here. Looks like we are missing one more discussant. Am I right?
No, Rudo is here. Rudo Makutua is here.
Oh, okay. She's in. Good. So
Yeah.
please just raise a hand and I'm the boss to say, okay,
Yeah,
Dr. Luca, go on.
you're the boss. Thank you, Dr. Perminus, for your presentation. It's really very relevant topic reflection that you put across. In my case, actually, I mean, I've been writing comments on the abstract that was sent to me, and I was wondering if it was possible just to show. It's just add-ons. It's just my reflections on top of those. But if it was possible, I would like to just share the screen. Just to
let me allow you to share your screen.
Mm-hmm.
Please, let's make sure multiple participants. Yes, good. Yes, you can share your screen.
Okay.
Let's just be aware that Dr. Matthew is leaving and we are still going to have the presentations. So let's mind with the time. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so is my screen, okay, my screen is not yet on share. Okay, let me show reactions. Okay, share screen. Is my screen being shared now? Okay, text here. Microsoft share. Is it? Do you see my screen?
Yes.
No, it's loading.
Ah, it's loading. Okay.
I can see it now.
I only
No,
added.
I see that it's there.
Yeah, I
It's there
only
now.
added. I added my reflections because I've been also brainstorming a lot in this very same issue, you know, through the times. And when I read Dr. Mateuri's abstract, I got sort of incited too. So I looked, for example, I mean, we've here, UNESCO has been doing very well in honoring, contributing, so on. And for me, yeah, we have the issue of culture of peace, which for me, it should be preceded by the culture of justice, you know. Policy making, of course, we need relevance, but in order to foster sustainability, that those policies need to look strongly at the relevance in the sense that the importance, the functionality of whatever the policies and the contents that are involved in the policies are. So the question comes, who are the policy makers actually? Who makes the policies? What are their competencies? This all come into question. For example, we have seen many cases that in teaching choral music, we've seen a lot of curriculum developments and all of that. And even when we as Africans go out to these so-called international platforms, we still think our stronghold is SATB, and when they are the people who really have that, are born into that, and we acquire it. Sometimes we learn it when we are 15, 20. And yeah, we are assuming that the West brings us. And here we're sustainable. How can we develop in a sustainable manner when we do not produce our own production means? For example, me, I've been very much preoccupied, you know, engaged with the issue of instrument. I'm struggling to really make this instrument production a functional system because this is a very important condition to make musical teaching practice sustainable. So we come also into the issues of epistemologies and paradigms, you know, we still have this challenge. Cultural policies are not fostering the inclusion of our own culture, unfortunately, in the education system, like Dr. Maturo was saying, in those communal cultural centers and so on. We find out that probably in a village there is one place where people can learn music or can learn whatever, dance and so on, and all what is there is Western. So this has to be I get into other issue, which for me, I think it shakes our confidence, our building of sustainable, confident identity. I will not play them all here, but I just put them as a remembrance. One thing that has been worrying me also in this setting of priorities, cultural policies, and so on. We in Africa are celebrating our nationality with all the Christian, old European hymns. We transform them into our national anthems, and I think these are not really inspiring. They are not really. I don't believe that. I can remember when I heard the national anthems in Mozambique as a child. Well, it's just passed on the surface, and I think it's not just me. I think it happens with a lot of people, and music has a strong ability to forge a personality, to forge the identity of people. So those things all are reflections. I'm not going to take more time now. We cannot finish them all here, but I just wanted to provoke. It's a provocation, and thank you for that time. I hope I did not take too much time. Thank you. You can stop sharing my screen. Okay.
Thank you. Tizara,
Yeah.
Dr. Phineas, please, the stage is yours.
Yes. Are you hearing me?
We are hearing you.
Are you getting me, people there?
We are getting.
Thank you very much. Mine is not is just one point. I just want to add where maybe I think is a very big miss in this movement or whatever we are doing here. I think language here is the major thing that is excluding people, that is not giving access to the culture bearers. Because to me, when you go to a certain community which is surviving and is sustaining itself from a given language, and then we are using English to these communities, to me, we are excluding them, because these culture bearers, they need to be involved in everything, decision making. You know, when you are doing whatever you are doing in terms of culture, when we talk in terms of creativity, one can be so easy to do it in his own language. So I think the big miss there is English. It's not. Let me talk of language, where we go into communities and then we are having proposals to funding in English. To me, we are already we are marginalizing these communities, because in terms of English, they cannot even at times read all the aspects, and to the point of responding, to the point of giving all the documents, all the information needed to win those funding. So to me, I think I'm just adding to what Dr. Mature and my colleague was just saying, to say let's also, we need to add language to this, because language is culture. So once we are doing when we are looking at trying to empower a particular community, and then we go to empower it with a different language. To me, that's where we get a mismatch. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So who is the next discussant? I haven't seen any hand risen. Any discussant? No, Mercy. no Clelio, no who else is here? Okay. So thank you, Dr. Mature, for your wonderful presentation. I find it very interesting for our theme. I think we'll be bringing a very promising book with this. So much is coming, and from this, oh, okay, Mercy is coming in, but let's make it like after Mercy. Is there any other discussant who would like to come after Mercy? Mercy is coming now, and after Mercy, Clelio, are you going to take on Dr. Maturi's presentation?
Yeah, hello.
Yes.
I'm having a problem with the internet here, but I found very interesting because this access to culture things is the things that I'm working into
Okay,
now.
so you will speak
in my project.
So let's
So it's like after,
let's
maybe
make
after
it,
Mercy, I can make some contribution.
yes, sure.
Also.
Sure,
Thank
let's just make it short so we can release the Dr. Maturi and continue with the program. Thank you. Mercy, the stage is yours.
Okay, Dr. Mature mentioned something about like that UNESCO has gone an extra mile to make sure that culture education is and issues of peace are taken care of. And so now, as the people like in our different countries, it is now in our hands to see how best we can support this initiative by UNESCO, by making sure that all our people are included, all the key players in the arts industry and in arts education are included. Thus, our culture bearers from whom we solicit information that we constantly use, and then also that we ensure that we make them the key in everything that we do, be it the information when we go to them. We must make sure that we speak in the local languages that they are able to understand, so that they are a part of everything that we intend to do, because they are the backbone of arts education and the arts industry itself. So we must surely take from where UNESCO has already begun to make sure that we also fully amplify their voices. Thank you.
Thank you. Clelio, please, the stage is yours.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Yes, I found I didn't hear perfect the presentation of Dr. Maturi, but I've been following his papers in the internet, so it's like almost I know what's going on there. But I found very interesting the way that he put the things, that it's very important to consider these language things, and also, but myself, I'm working in the local now, that it's like we do have a lot of different mix up of language also, it's like in the place that I'm working, it's a place in Kamangulu here in Maputo. So it's like there is people coming from different backgrounds also, so coming from north, center, and the south of Mozambique. So it's like when we talk about access to culture, and we cannot define, for example, here in our situation, one only language that we can choose as a language that we can make the people have this access to the culture, no? So it's like we have this issue of in which language we're supposed to promote the things. For example, here we are working with the municipality cultural center, here. And one of the big discussions also that we in the project we used to have, it's like, if we want to give access to culture to the people, in which language are we supposed to share the information about what's going on? Because we do have people come from north, center, and south of Mozambique. So it's like we're imposed to put the things in Portuguese, because we know that the Portuguese is the language of the access, general access here in Maputo, in Mozambique, actually. So it's like these language things, I think that it's not that much easy to put as something that we just have one language that we should put in this language, looking to this cultural promotion of our language and stuff. So this depends of the context with the country, because in Mozambique we do have different language. So it's like I just wanted to put this a little bit in this way. This is a kind of a provocation also to see in which way we can try to solve this kind of issue when we have them in front of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Matiuri, would you like to respond to this, or to comment, add some comments in just very 2 or 3 minutes, please?
Yes, a very brief one. I think all the contributions that have been done so far by discussants are very valuable. This is can I call it, the struggle that we are in. This is the post-colonial mentality that we are sort of possessed with. I always say to people when we discuss, colonizing a people is very easy, but decolonizing what has been sort of planted or cultivated in the people is a big deal. We are struggling with the issue of repossession. We are struggling with the issue of redefining ourselves. Who are we as Africans? Who's the sort of mandate are we following? And where is our voice? How do we perceive things today? Are we able to withstand the pressure coming from outside concerning our own cultures? So these are issues of post-colonial sort of era, which we are in right now. And I am very happy to hear my colleagues contributing with that spirit. So the solution is not easy, because we are trying to deactivate an activated situation. Our mentality, our language, the way we eat, the way we are all even busy incorporating what the church has to offer. We are busy incorporating what the outside are doing. So the self is no longer in the self. The self is now in the others. That's the comment that I can give for now. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Of course, it was already done. I was supposed to have given more information if I had not gotten into this dilemma that I was of losing my mother. But anyway, thank you very much for giving me this platform, Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Permius Matiuri. Thank you for the discussions. And I wish you a very safe trip back to Namibia. Let us know when you are there. We will, of course, know in the group. Rudo,
Sure.
My apologies. I did not call your name, but because you did not raise your hand. Okay. And now I would like to invite Mr. Innocent to do his presentation. After Dr. Innocent, it will be Dr. Mika to present. One of our Mozambican presenters is missing. I can't see him here. I'll try to get in touch with him and hear if he's coming. Otherwise, we'll have just 3 presentations. Thank you, Vara.
Thank you.
Innocent.
All right, thank you so much. It's quite interesting that the previous presentation by Dr. Mature actually connects to the topic that I chose to look at. I did write quite a lot. I hope in 10 minutes I'll be finished, but I may just rush some of the points that I put across. The paper is available for everyone to read. Yeah, the truth of the matter is that we are in a dilemma as Africa. And of course, here in my topic, I'm saying unveiling the veil, which means we are trying to find where the problem is. But here we look specifically at how national policies, strategies, and political agendas have had a significant impact on music and education in Africa. And when you talk about music and arts education in Africa, they are linked directly to our culture, and therefore they are linked to what Dr. Mature was actually discussing in his presentation. So to me, it's simple. I think I'm talking here to people that are already enlightened in a way. So when we talk about national policies, strategies, and political agendas, everybody understands what we are trying to talk about. For me, it's just simply the rules of the family, the budget of the family, what can be done in our family. That's where you have a family policy, you have a national policy, you have a strategy. So for me, these policies and agendas determine the level of importance given to arts education in schools and tertiary institutions, and the allocation of resources for arts programs. As simple as that. So in your family, once you say, in our family, this is what we eat, the way you allocate your resources will actually determine how you allocate them and what you allocate. So they influence the curriculum and types of arts and music that are taught. In some countries, there may be quite a strong emphasis on arts education, with dedicated funding and support for music and arts programs in schools. I have traveled to countries like Germany and Austria, and I always marvel at the amount and the effort that is put into investing into cultural education, music education. So far, so much that no one here does not know about who created music and who creates music all over the world, you know. So the fact that there may be a strong emphasis on arts education with dedicated funding and support in some countries can lead to a vibrant arts scene and development of talented artists and musicians. On the other hand, countries where arts education is not prioritized, there may be limited resources and opportunities for students to engage in music and arts education. The question is, in your own situation, in your own country, how is it? So political agendas alone, they shape the content and direction of arts education. For example, in some countries, they may focus on preserving those the African tradition and African music and arts, while in others, there may be an emphasis on incorporating global influences. And this is where we as Africa have the biggest problem. Most of our education has been influenced by global influences and contemporary art forms rather than our own, our traditional, our indigenous. So it's important to note that the impact of national policies, strategies, and political agendas on music and arts education can vary even across countries in Africa. Each country has its own unique cultural and political context. I'll give an example of Zimbabwe, for instance. We gained our independence in 1980, and the majority of Zimbabweans lacked opportunities and facilities for quality secondary education. Education in our colonial era ended at primary school, for instance. And with this context, the education system was designed to create an individual who could read, who could write, add numbers, and there was minimal attention given to arts education. And you don't want even to talk about music, because even the what we call the weight that was given to music, aspirations of students achieving white collar careers in education, health, agriculture, every child would stand up and say, I want to be a doctor when I grow up. I want to be. And if you were to stand in class and say, I want to be a musician, or I want to preserve African culture, there was a stereotype, societal stereotypes that looked down upon anything cultural. And some of these stereotypes still linger up even up to modern days. You know, when a child chooses to learn music, chooses to focus on music, when an institution chooses to focus on music, or even if you talk about even in universities right now, I am so sure you have the same problem of how much attention is given to education in music versus the other faculties. That's for you to answer. So all this also connects to who colonized us before. And that has profound influence on our education and how we preserve culture and tradition in a country. So when a country is colonized, colonizers often impose their own educational systems and values, which can lead to the marginal erasure of indigenous cultures and tradition. And this can result sometimes in the loss of traditional and arts music education and the suppression of even local languages and cultural practices. Right now, we are debating which is the best language to talk about culture, which to make people access our culture, to make people access our music. And you will realize we are already leaning to languages that were put by our colonizers to connect us, even if we have other indigenous languages. So yeah, colonization can disrupt also the intergenerational transmission of cultural knowledge and skills. Traditional music and arts education often rely on oral tradition. This is one crucial point, and apprenticeship models, where the custodians that we're talking about, they don't understand English, but they have the best, or should I say the best knowledge, connecting to the history, the content of our music. So when colonization comes in, it disrupts this process. Introducing, for instance, Western educational models that prioritize written text and formal classroom settings. So for the colonial government, suppressing education, arts education, and non-promotion of African culture sector had the benefit also of reducing what they thought were revolutionary tendencies. So there was a deliberate attempt, for instance, to stop the development of our own music, the development of our own instruments, the development of the education, because education is learning in a certain way. Talking about Zimbabwe, for instance, arts education was concentrated in what were formerly white private Group A schools. And they tended to have superior resources and trained teachers when compared to their, what we call here, mission and government-sponsored counterparts. But also, even though they were teaching this, it was more about the European, because we were colonized by England. We are an English colony, and naturally our education, even in music, lies and lied to that direction. So as a result, for instance, art education was considered as an expensive and non-academic subject in former Rhodesia. And that situation did not improve even after independence. Music still retains a very poor image and has not expanded into the mainstream education that much. That's what I can say colonization has done. But then I will say African music alone is a very complex thing. It's complex in its nature and its origins and its sources and its usage, especially in previous times. And that alone affects its education in these current times. Music in many African countries, that includes Zimbabwe, does not just have this aesthetic value. Neither does it just carry an entertainment purpose. African music is deeply connected to religion, to culture, and to tradition. And in many African societies, music plays a significant role in religious rituals and ceremonies and all this. And that alone means it serves as a means of communication also with the spiritual world. And it connects humans with their ancestors and all their deities. So in some African cultures, specific musical genres and music instruments cannot just be taken into a classroom. There's a lot that we need to debunk when we are going to deal with African music, because it's just not music in a sense. It's also a people. It has a lot of connection to their culture, to who they are, to what they believe in. I actually researched and realized that also the talking drum, for instance, of traditional West African music and instruments in Western Africa is often associated with spiritual communication and is used in various religious ceremonies. So African music often reflects our cultural values, our beliefs, our traditions that are different as ethnic groups. And that alone will then influence how we then bring them into education, into the classroom, into our universities. So that's one thing. The background alone then presents complications when it comes to music education. Attempting to adapt music education into Western standards and templates of education creates then a very serious conflict with the societies, with the communities, and with the custodians that we're talking about of African customs. There is normally African homegrown policies and methods of education that are then required in order then that you can nurture effective education of African music globally. Using the template of the Western style may not necessarily work for African music education. So governments and international unions, of course, need to promote more research and documentation and preservation of African music, especially considering that most of it is orally transmitted from generation to generation. And this arrogance, I may say in brief, is then the arrogance of actually dividing oral education custodians versus this academic way of doing things, this formal way of doing things, and everyone also doing their own in their own way and saying we are the. As time goes on, we are losing a lot. We are losing a lot of a significant impact on academic education, on the real things that were happening. So a lot is lost while we are all working arrogant in our own spaces, dividing our custodians versus our institutions, our formal institutions, if I may put it that way. So one challenge is that the potential loss or distortion of information due to the reliance of oral transmission without a written record. Details may be forgotten and altered over time, leading to inaccuracies in academic research. So additionally, also the lack of standardized notation systems in African music and dances has made it very difficult for researchers to accurately document and analyze these art forms. Despite these challenges, efforts have been made, of course, to bridge the gap between tradition and academic research. Scholars have developed methods and records to transcribe oral narratives, songs, dance movements, allowing for a more systematic study of African music and the dances, for instance, in our culture. I will move on to say it's also crucial that academics and researchers develop curricula, music and arts education relying on indigenous content, locally bred methods, and standardize that with global approaches, of course, of music education. The attempt to force African music and culture to fit into existing styles and imported theories has hindered authentic music education on African music. And it has caused the divide, of course, that I've relayed to among musicians, artists, cultural preservers, custodians, and because most of them sometimes also rely on their natural talents, and academics also rely on their theories, what they have learned, and there's been conflict there, and that has affected music education, where at the end of the day you will find, in brief, the academics believe you don't know because you have not been in the classroom, while those that are outside, the custodian, says you don't know, all you know is what you have read about. And that divorce alone has created a huge gap in music education. So there may be a lack of understanding and appreciation for each other's perspectives and methods. Musicians and artists rely on natural talents, while academic approaches are restrictive and stifling to their creativity. Conversely, also academics and researchers may see those that use natural talent as insufficient without solid theoretical foundation. Right. How much time do I have left? It's a long paper, so I'll be skipping some of the things. In Zimbabwe, there was actually a baseline study.
Well, Tizwara, I would say that you are having Basela in Changana. We say Basela when we top up something
like,
for you. So now you have taken your Basela, but please try to just do the close up, please.
Okay, so like in Zimbabwe, they've done quite a huge study with the Culture Fund, which did the research program on with the Swedish on our how they could improve the systems of education in Zimbabwe. And I must say that I'm happy to say we see quite a huge improvement. Even in national policy, the government has approved the creation of clear policy on culture. We've had ministries that are created specifically for culture and to look at arts and music education. And I must say that you look at institutions like the Midland State University, they have also actually deliberately empowered custodians and artists that are dealing with music using talent and brought them into the academic system. And that alone creates an amazing marriage that I believe will improve arts education in Zimbabwe. And hopefully that's what we can also adopt in Africa. Yeah, like I said, I think the paper is quite long, but it's available for everybody to read. I think the summary of it is that it is the divorce between national policy, government, the divorce with custodians, which are the culture bearers, which are those that are actually practically practicing music and dance and all these cultural, versus the whole world, the imperialist world, coming over us and influencing either the young, influencing our education systems. So we need to come up with strategy to create policy that deliberately empowers indigenous music, arts, and dance education. I think I'll stop there.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my Tizara Innocent, for this very enriching presentation. And because you have your discussants, I won't even comment, but I found it really, therefore, I allowed you the Basela because I said, okay, let me not cut this, is bringing the meat into the is that correct? Onto the table. So
yes,
I will invite Dr. Mikash Silambu to do his presentation. And looking here, this man is not responding, but he's not here yet, the last presenter. So after Dr. Mikash presents, if the next presenter is not here, we'll just go for the discussion with the discussants. Dr. Mikash, the stage is yours.
Thanks. I'm very happy that Mr. Innocent and Mike Will were here. They brought very good information for us. And we had a good discussion also. I think I will start from the strategy to empower our culture. When I was, I think I was 20 years old, I believe. I think maybe 15 years ago, my grandmother told me that a person is well when every part of his or her body are well. And she went on saying that a community is well when its members are also well. You might be wondering why I'm telling this, but it is because this illustrates what I will be talking about here, which is Shigubu. In order to play Shigubu, we need many different parts that should come together. I mean, dance, musical instrument, the social function that help us to play Shigubu. So I believe that to fight against colonialism, we need to talk about the policy, but we also need to talk about the concrete traditional musical arts. That's why I decided that I will bring information here about Shigubu, since many of other panelists will be discussing about the policy. So in order to contextualize my presentation, I would like to ask Mr. Borsch to play a short video, to share a short video with you that we can start. Are you able to do that, Mr. Borsch? I can't hear you. I think your microphone is off.
Yes, I was saying that I thought you would start by the PowerPoint, therefore I prepared it. Allow me just a few seconds to go to your video.
Okay, while you try to fix that, I think at the end of my presentation, I will bring some strategy for dissemination and maintaining of Shigubu. And in order to do that, I prepared my presentation in 7 different topics. I will talk about social function of Shigubu. I want to look at the musical instrument, then the choreography organization, the common song of Shigubu. I want to look at the process, the transmission process of this practice, the main characteristic, and ending with this strategy for disseminating Shigubu. So if you are ready, Mr. Borsch, we are also ready to watch this short video that
go ahead while it's loading now.
Yeah. So the short video that you will see, I recorded it in 2021 with one of my colleague colleague in Matutwini, which is a district of Maputo province. Well, for those who do not know what is Shigubu, it is a traditional practice that symbolizes the country's colonial resistance, especially in the southern region of Mozambique. And it has served as a call to war or a preparation to war. Shigubu is mostly exhibited in Maputo province and Gaza province, I mean here in Mozambique, but we can also find it in other neighboring countries such as South Africa and Swaziland. Then Swaziland, but now it is Swatini, I think. And also, it is a traditional African practice that takes place at community establishment parts, at the traditional drink opening ceremony, for example, in Shikanyu ceremony, on the festive and commemorative date, and also in the ceremony of Kupasha, related to asking for rain. Mr. Boris, stop eating and fix my video, please.
Yeah, my computer is just slow. I'm listening to your Shigubu here, and trying to bring up to everyone, to share it to everyone. I think now it's going to be ready. It's ready to go. Let me bring it up. Oh, where is that video? Why can't I see it? It's not. Oh, okay. I think this is the video. Ah, okay, yeah, found it. Yeah, it should just be with you now. Is it showing loading? Is it showing some action loading?
Yeah, it's loading.
Yeah.
Okay. So my apologies. My computer is very slow, and I'm expecting my Tizaras to dash me a new computer. Is it loaded? Can I play? Can you see the video, the picture for the video? I think yes, because I can see it's saying.
Yes, you can play.
The pictures, we can, yes, I can see the pictures there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, are you done with your presentation, Dr. Mike?
Well, I think the sound wasn't good. I wasn't able to hear the sound, and it was moving very slowly. I hope that that was only for me. But I think we can continue because we don't have enough time.
Much time,
I don't know
yeah.
if the others were able to listen. We can
listen to
then,
it.
after the presentation, share the video if they wish to.
Yes, then anyone who wishes to can post in the chat, can say, write something in the chat if
Okay.
you heard the video or whatever, and then this will be available on our YouTube and Facebook channel, of course, and we can watch it later. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we can go back to this the slide and directly to slide number 4. Are you able to share the slide now? So I said that this is a traditional practice that symbolizes the country's colonial resistance, especially here in Mozambique. Slide number 4. And
Okay.
it is it takes place at community establishment parts in opening drinking opening ceremony, and also in Kupatla ceremony for asking for rain. And it has many different instruments. And here I brought some. The first one, the main drum that is used to play shigubu, is also called shigubu because of the sound that it produces. And it is usually made from the metal cans, and also skin of cows and goats, gazelle, or other animals. Then we have ngoma, which is made from trunk of a tree and the skin of a goat. We also have ngulula, which is made from a circular metal can, skin of cows, and at the top of the skin you can see a reed there. All these drums, they play in a different ways. These rhythm, boom, taka 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 boom, taka 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 taka. So they play a very different style. There's a microphone on there. Please, Mr. Borges, we move to the next slide. Now I want to talk about the choreography organization. It is not that shigubu consists of dispersing or lining up of a certain number of men or women of different ages in more or one or more rows. The dancer, they dress with a plant object and as animal skins on their arms and their legs. They also wear a seed necklace on their arm and legs. In my language, we call that necklace as mafashawa. And also they paint their skin. Shigubu dancer also hold an instrument called shichangu in their left hands to defend themselves. And they also hold a kari in their right hand to attack the enemy. We move to the next slide. Then we have many different tunes that are sung in Shigubu. And there's that common tune called the Maeza, which I believe that is a common song in Shigubu. It goes like this: Maeza no, Ntombizani Maeza, Maeza no, usungulikali ungasena kula, Ubani Maeza. So they play this repeatedly. This song, it criticizes the evils of society. It exposes or ridicules the defiant members of society. It's a song that works as a social tool for maintaining the moral norm. Next step. Now I want to talk about the process of transmission of Shigubu, the process of transmission of Shigubu. And we know that in order to learn Shigubu, performers, they learn to play by playing those different drums. They learn to sing the tunes by singing them, and they learn to dance by dancing. So we can say that the learning process, it takes place through being patient and paying attention to what is going on in the environment. And it takes place through the creation of friendships, through long hours of together work, observation, experimentation, listening, repetition, trial and error, and also being there in the social event. Next slide, please. The main characteristics of Shigubu, I think, are: the first one is that Shigubu is an integrated practice, that the performers, they work on music, dance, musical instrument, and the environment intrinsically. It is also a collective practice because the performers, they compose, learn, and teach each other. It is self-conducting performance because the performers, they conduct themselves reciprocally. I mean, the drum conducted the singer conducted the person who is dancing, and it goes like that. Shigubu is also about creative repetition of a short rhythm and melody. It is based on call and response. I gave you a example previously. Mayeza no sung by the leader and Ntombizana Mayeza, the choir. Mayeza no, the leader, Sunguleka Lunga Sinakula, one Mayeza, the choir. So we see here that Shigubu has a musical phrase that tend to be very short and simple in order to facilitate their process of memorization, but also allowing the performers to sing them with the combination or with other activities, I mean dancing and playing. Shigubu's values and knowledge are passed on by member of the same family or community from one generation to the next generation. I think Mr. Maitui also mentioned that. It is an open and inclusive practice because each performer chooses to develop a specific task in which he or she feels comfortable. Next slide. Now, I think we need to think what are the strategy to disseminate or maintain Shigubu, but also other African musical art. I think that first of all, we need to collect material of Shigubu and other African practice throughout the country with audio and audiovisual recording support. We need to make a direct and participant observation in Shigubu performance. And also we need to interview people who who have knowledge about this practice. At the second step, I believe that we need to make a double analysis of the material collected. What I mean by double analysis is that we need to make the musical analysis which will pay attention to the musical forms. I mean the rhythm, melody, harmony, heterophony, and other musical forms. And the anthropological analysis, it will pay attention to the process of cultural transformation. Here we need to think also about the inculturation process. The step number 3 is is the introduction of the teaching of Shigubu and other African musical practice, both at elementary school and at the professional level. I mean, in university and other institution where art is taught. Step number 4, we need to disseminate Shigubu and other practice in social media such as radio, television, newspaper. And I believe that this can be done through creation of program, a documentary, article, and reporting, as well as broadcasting of concept. At the end, I believe that it's important to organize competition dedicated to traditional practice and their reinterpretation and the recreation, especially by younger people, I mean African people. So my idea is that we need to create policy. That's important, I know that, but also we need to do something very concrete in order to complete all those policies that we are going to create. In my final words, the last slide, I believe, I think that research and dissemination of Shigubu and other African practice is something that can contribute to a great appreciation of African culture, of African art. I think that is the point to raise awareness of traditional musical arts in education, as well as disseminating our culture through medias that can lay the foundation for rediscovering the philosophy of African practice. I think the ideology of mutuality and collaboration in communal action. So I think, Mr. Board, the last slide, I think that all this action may contribute to the continuity of African art. So, Mr. Board, could you?
Yes, some noise in one of the mics. I can't see the mics because of the sharing. Please, someone who has the mic on, please.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, that is what I wanted to share with you. I believe that we need policy, but we also need something concrete to bring to our community also. That is the end of my presentation. Thank you. Mr. Bosch, I'm done.
Oh, apologies. I was speaking alone. I forgot that I have to switch on the mic. I was saying that thank you, Dr. Silambu, for your presentation. And I think Mr. Marcial Macomi is not here. I was trying to get hold of him, but he did not reply. Let's think if he comes, if he shows up, then we will give him his space to talk. But now we will move forward with the discussants, bringing their ideas and questions. After the discussants have contributed, have discussed with the presenters, we will then open the floor for every participant to share. Now, I would like to remind all those especially who were not here when we started, that after this, we'll present to UNESCO a report on this event, but most of all, we will be publishing a book out of this work, in which, based on all the contributions here, everyone interested in collaborating, in contributing with a chapter of not much than 6,000 words. We'll just ask you to contribute. We'll open a call for the contributions. Meanwhile, I would say all the presenters have now agreed to write a chapter on this. For what I've heard, the integration, the need to understand people who we research, and especially the language. How do we communicate with them? How do they make sense of us? I think this is the main key for our discussion. How do we read the Shegubu movements? For example, they are using a language. When we go as scholars to research, how are we making sense of this? And probably one thing that I would like to suggest and discuss and to bring forward is, how is the policy and government private strategies engage with all these discussions? How can we make kind of advocacy so that strategies and policies can be approved by the governments and by the civil society organizations like SMEAM and IASA and many other organizations can cooperate with the society and the government, so we can get more value in what we do. I see my Tizara, Dr. Phineas has raised the hand, or did I not lower your hand after last time you spoke? Dr. Phineas, are you with us?
Yeah, fine. Yes.
Did you raise the
Yes. Are you? Yes, my hand.
Okay.
Yes, it's up.
Okay, but allow me, Tizara, to, because we did not allow one of the discussants when was Dr. Maturi's turn, and let's make like we are starting. We are starting from the beginning, ladies first.
Fine.
So I would like to invite Miss Miss Mwakutuya, yes, Miss Mwakutuya, if she's happy
It's
to
okay.
open the floor for us. Yes, thank you. Rudo, are you here with us?
Yes, I am. Hello, how are
Yes,
you?
please, can you open this discussion, interact with all the presentations, or with those you feel like you can interact with? Please, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you, sir. I'll start with the one by Dr.
I'm not listening to her.
Dube,
Oh, okay, she's back.
Dube. Interesting discussion, quite an interesting one. Yes, oh, my network seems to be acting up. Yes, about unveiling the veil, where we are discussing about the culture, the pre-colonial times, what systems around Africa. My network is continually dropping. Yes. One thing I noted in the discussion is there is need for engagement in this policy making, especially with regards to the ministry. But now I want to perceive that in almost each and every culture, or in each and every country actually in Southern Africa, the policymakers ain't doing so much justice. This entails even to the ministries which I attend. With first-hand information of teaching both from primary to secondary schools, you would see that this indigenous music, indigenous art, it seems people are shunning away from it a lot. There's too much hybridity coming in from the Western cultures, whereby even when it comes to educators or even teachers, so to say, if they are to teach dances or the instruments, it's now more of the Western type. So I'm really not sure how this can be done. We could be just discussing and discussing and discussing, but the educators themselves, they are also now at a point of not being able to execute what they are teaching or what they are disseminating to kids. We can't be having adults doing it all alone, but we need to have the kids as well, or the students doing it. So I'm not sure, it has to start at the grassroots, whereby cultural centers, they even enroll. I'm not sure how we're going to do it. If students can be enrolled as young as ECD children, 2-3 years, they are taught about the culture, the arts, and the music, such that that can be incorporated into the educational system, such that we won't shun the cultural practices, the cultural dances, the cultural music, and the cultural etc. of any given African country. Oral tradition, yes, I also noticed you mentioned about oral tradition being the upper hand of the dissemination of this culture. But hey, actually it seems the oral tradition is also coming in biased as well, and it's more of diluted oral tradition. So unveiling the veil, there is need to have more strategies, more engagement from different communities. I like the issue of cultural barriers being said to come in and to help in, but also this cultural barriers, so to say, they are also coming in with lots of biases. We no longer have any whom we can say these are genuine cultural barriers. They may be there, but they are a few. So we still have lots to discuss and to search on. We hope ministries will come into play. and policymakers, and also in these parliaments, if they are helpful, we might be going somewhere as a continent. Yeah, I will invite other discussants to come into play.
Thank you. Dr. Phineas, you can please come in and you will be followed by Ms. Mercy. Hello, anyone listening to me?
Yes, we are listening.
Yeah, we can
are you
hear
listening?
you.
Okay, he's moving now. Dr. Phineas, please take the floor. The floor is yours, and Ms. Mercy will follow.
Okay, thank you very much. I just want maybe to start with Dr. Mika's presentation. Maybe as an outsider, at first maybe I was struggling to get what is Chigubu is all about. But as I was following, I tried to pick what exactly Chigubu is. I picked two things. Maybe Chigubu was discussed in this presentation as a music or a dance tradition, or is it a philosophy? This Chigubu, is it a philosophy? I noted in some parts of the presentation, it was indicated African indigenous way of making music, which to me sounds as a system. So I think as I was following, I noted Chigubu, is it a music as well as dance tradition, as well as a philosophy? Maybe you may assist it to clarify there. I noted there's also, as the presenter was bringing in the idea of Chigubu, it talks of choreograph is organization, bringing the idea of dance movement there to Chigubu. So it's, to me, Chigubu is appearing to be a very a big system. Maybe that needs more explanation to me as an outsider. I'll go to Innocent's presentation. Maybe if the chairperson is allowing me there to proceed to this this presentation to Innocent. Now, as I was following Innocent's presentation, which actually I noted it was a back spinning to what Dr. Mature presented, where maybe the idea of culture, going back to idea of language, how then do we give access to the culture bearers? Yes, initially I was also thinking maybe my colleague he noted that the presentation or the paper is quite long, and I think I thought maybe as he was deliberating on the ideas to do with policies, strategies, like maybe we are having these policies to do with what is the culture, national culture policy in Zimbabwe, where we are having the existing strategies. Today, we are having strategies to say we are having the culture and industry strategy, and then the music strategy. there's also another strategy where they say is NDS, National Development Strategy. So maybe we need to look at these strategies. They are there. There are a lot of policies. I've been reading today. I noted the deputy minister. He also launched another policy yesterday, just yesterday, a policy to say to do with the early learning policy. But actually, what actually is the limitation of all these policies? There are a lot, they are coming, a lot of them, but what actually is the limitation? What actually, where do they lack achieve the intended goals? That's something that we need to look at as people, as culture actors, because we are having music, the music strategies there. We also have the policy to do with history, tourism industry, or even the policies that we have in institution of higher learning. We are having the policies. How are these policies assisting those people who want to learn music? We may look at the idea of the subjects that are needed. Are these supporting to the person who is coming from the village? Remember, the music making is done even in the village. There's already music that is being done in the village. But are we seeing the bridging where we look at school and the community? What is lacking about this strategy? We may go on and go on coming up with these strategies, but we also need to look at what exactly is still lacking on this. Who is making these strategies? Of course, experience is critical, but at times we may see a given template to a given a culture, where I think maybe we need to come up with these strategies from the grassroots. Of course, we may take other ideas, but if we take the entire system and then we copy it and paste to a certain culture, it might bring a lot of a problem. So we need to look at how maybe we do this. And even to the point where Dr. Mature was indicating to say the idea of decolonization. We are looking at the system, but as we are now dismantling these systems, we need to go further to talk about the idea of, as academics, this time they are talking of a decoloniality. Who is, because if I go and then to a system, if I remove someone who made that system and then I go to the very system and then I think of maybe there's decolonization, it might be a problem. We need to see what exactly are we going to input as a people from a given culture to say we are now in control. Maybe that's in short. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Phineas and Ms. Mercy. The floor is yours.
Okay, so my observation is that the three papers that were presented today are interlinked. So I observed that Dr. Mature's presentation was centered around inclusion and how we could possibly do so. And then Innocent's paper was also addressed the issue of inclusion. And in this paper, I discovered that we could successfully include everyone in the arts education system by firstly decolonizing the education system that focuses on people being able to read and write, and ignores arts education, and the education system is done using foreign languages. That makes it difficult for people to understand and grasp all concepts successfully. So how do we successfully include everyone? We can successfully do so by tailor-making the education curriculum as well as the arts education curriculum to suit our African ways of education. And therefore, in that process, we then include culture and arts education at an early stage of our students' career cycle, which is from, I think, a preschool thereabout, so that they grow up with the system in them, so that they don't struggle to try and then grasp the system at a later stage in their education. And then what I also picked from Mr. Innocent's paper is that we are stronger together, the academics and the culture bearers. If we are to successfully decolonize ourselves and have everybody included, we should work together. And then why I said earlier that these papers are interlinked is that we've been, in Mr. Innocent's paper, addressed the issue of us adopting our African ways of education, which center around oral tradition. And then the Chigubu paper then addresses that issue, because Chigubu is a music, I don't know, it's a music tradition that is typically African, and it's taught using our oral ways of teaching. And because of that, it has survived to date. And then the last part of the paper addressed how we can preserve our African culture and arts. It then mentioned about the issue of collecting of materials, and then also the continuation of Chigubu being taught like in the family setup and being passed from one generation to the other. And then also the use of mass media is also to be included in the preservation of Chigubu, not forgetting that Chigubu is a part of all, it actually represents all the African music and traditions and culture that we have. So we cannot ignore the fact that we are in the 21st century, where there are other methods of preservation that we cannot ignore. So we also need to include the mass media and all the other possible methods that we can use to preserve our African arts and culture. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I can't see any raised hands, but we have discussants. Dr. Luca Mukavele is still here with us. Clelio is with us. So we have only two discussants from, from
maybe I
this
can
side.
make my contribution.
Okay, thank you. But before you just before you go on, the last presenter is in now. So after the discussants have brought their points before the presenters answer, I will invite Mr. Marcial Makomi to do his presentation. Then after Mr. Marcial Makomi presents the previous presenters will respond, and then we invite after that the audience to join us. Go ahead, Claire.
Yeah, I wrote a message asking to be excused. I have to give a lesson soon, and so I'm just on my way now. I'm just checking this on the telephone along the way.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
would you like to contribute now while you are going? And I would ask Clelia to hold a little bit for you to give your contribution while you are going.
I'm quite on the road. I cannot concentrate so well, but
okay.
I mean, in general, I think, well, I'm happy to see that everybody is actually, we are in quite of a consonance, you know, our concerns are all the same. We are seeing the problem the same way, and we are all searching to find solutions. And I believe, of course, this process of the integration, for me particularly, having in the latest years focused in producing local knowledge grounded on local resources, I always feel strongly that we should contribute to this. We should enlarge, for example, expand more this eagerness, this interest in producing materials, didactic materials, whether we're talking of written material, teaching aids, and this is one way to show that things really do work, because policymakers, they don't know, some of them have been fully trained in Western mode, you know, they've never seen local tradition as a potential means of development, of sustaining lives of people, that sustaining a society. But if we look all around, we see all societies that have been successful, they've developed their own tradition. And this concept of developing is not just catching something, adopting something from far, from the space, from anywhere. It's really starting making something which is less adaptable, less adapted for the situation, to make it better, to suit better the reality, to better achieve the desired objectives. And that said, I go back to always my chorus that everybody knows. For me, instruments and didactic materials have to be capitalized. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lucas. And we are sorry that you are leaving before we go to the end, but we have had your contributions, very, very valuable contributions. So, Claudio, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Myself, I like to make a provocation, because I think that it's important. As Mr. Lucas Mukavet was saying, that we agreed in so many things here. But the question that I used to make all the time, that I used to be in this kind of discussion, it's where to start. This is the question that always comes in my mind, where to start. Because here we are talking about as academic people that they are in the academic, it's like we do have a lot of desire to change things, to make this decolonization things, and so on. But as a researcher, myself, when I'm going to the field, and I used to be with the people there in the field and ask them what they prefer, their culture or something else that they can learn from outside. Some of them, a majority of them, they say that they prefer to learn something else because they know already about their culture. So it's like, where are we going now? Where are we going? Because the things that I used to see, it's like the people, now it's a provocation. In the academy, it's like we do have like a beautiful and sometimes romantic discussion about this kind of stuff, but we don't have a real idea what the people in the deep community, grassroots community, what they really want. if they want to keep their culture, if they want to just move on and learn things different and have this opportunity to make their culture, have this diversity of culture also. So it's like I think that we should also enrich ourselves and thinking like in the open way and go back to the roots and try to figure out with the people that they're underground what's going on, in which way they really want to live today, and which way they want to expose their culture, in which way they want to exchange with the people, with the other cultures, and so on and so on. And because this also it's part of inclusion. So it's like the people outside, they think that it's important to keep their culture, but they want to be included in this, let's say, global cultural village that we are today, no? So it's kind of like I think that we should think a little bit of that also, not just keep like saying that we have to go back and promote and preserve, making a preservation of our culture, but also trying to understand real what the people in communities they really want. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. As I had said, I would ask the presenters, Dr. Mikas, Mr. Innocent, and to just be patient before you go to the responses, to the interaction with the discussants, and give the opportunity Mr. Marcial to bring his contribution. Afterwards, then we will go straight to the three of you. Unfortunately, Mr. Marcial did not listen to your presentations, and probably he won't be able to, because you would just take it from there. But let's see how it goes. After Mr. Marcial, then it will be either one of you. You will choose. I'll not say who, because if I have to say, then I'll give the priority to my Tirara, and this is not good. Thank you. Marcial, tá aí o palco, é seu. Dance à vontade.
Good afternoon all for everyone, and thank you for the opportunity. So I'm so sorry for coming late and didn't get your presentation, the other presentation. I'm so sorry for that. But so just one little things. One temperature.
You have 15 minutes. Well, everything against him. So he has 15 minutes and the internet is betraying him already. Oh, but it's back now. 15 minutes, 15 minutes.
Okay, I think it's good. My presentation will start from where we start as a country in Mozambique. When we built Mozambique, when we were planning to build our freedom, our independence. Hello? Yes, I was saying they decided to bring a brand that we call it, we have to kill the tribe to build the nation. Okay, we killed the tribe to build the nation. It was the slogan that we've been used by our freedom fighters when we get our independence. But it brings also, it brings difficult issues after we get our independence, because we kill the tribe. It means that we have to kill what is our particular issues. And then we want to build a new things. What is these new things meaning? These new things it's basing on which reference we have. We have European culture that we consider as a new way, as a new country that we're trying to build. So this is the way, from my own understanding, some research that I'm doing, that we I think that first of all, we have to go back from how our nation were built, which the ideology that we used. Because if we said we have tribalism, we were against at that time. We were against tribalism. We were against tribe and also these things. It means that these tribes, they have their own culture. They has different ways to relate with the world, with the other people, and then we kill these small things, and we try to build a big things. In context that we are talking about, how can I say it? It's in this context that we are talking about public policies that are advocated for some artists to develop their jobs. It brings these things again. It brings these things on the table, because we want to talk about we're going to talk about policies to advertise some artist makers that before some of them some practice were killed when we start to create our nation. And then we start to talk about cultural industry in our country, especially Mozambique. But what does it mean, cultural industry without, for example, industrial? We talk about cultural industry, but we don't have even the people who used to build it, who advocated it. And then it takes me to some other researches have been a lot of research have been done about it. I remember that I think some of you have already know this. The name is from Cote d'Ivoire is Amadou Nkrumah when he sold as Independence. He has a book that called Sold as Independence, that you analyze what was wrong with our nation when we built. And it says that the things that are wrong is the way we concept our nation. We have to go back. And when I was I hear someone presentation, he said that how can we go back? It's when we're talking about go back, we're not talking about go back from 200 years ago and bring these things against here. Bring this practice to us. Let's leave the society, this actual society, and go back and take this practice as our practice now. It's not about that. When we're talking about go back and understand it, it means that we have to go back inside of us, trying to understand what is global means. How can we contribute in the world globally while we are seeing our particular culture? How can our culture, in their own ways, can contribute for the world? How can it influence the global system? Because all these things that we are talking, it starts from somewhere. So if we understood that these things have been starting with, for example, if we can adopt, I will adopt, not advocate, but I will adopt here, for example, that, okay, let's talk about theater. Some books used to say that theater started from Greece. Okay, we understood the point of view and the fight of narratives that are involved on that games. So why don't we go back in our particular issues and take it to the table and show the world that what we have to contribute in this world, basing in our tribe, in our practice, in our tribes, and some community, the way they live, it can contribute for the world. It will be very good, in my own understanding, than reproduce European practices and European education. For example, some of us that we have used to go to the village, We have some medicines, traditional medicines, that have been not that we all of us we drink that medicine, local medicines, traditional medicines when we're kids. But we know that these things help us to grow up as a kid in farms in village, because they don't go to the hospital, but their practice, their culture, provide result for their own problem. Why we as a research we do not go there and see that practice that contribute in that region to solve problems on that? Why don't we go there and then we feel with them, then bring our solution to those people, because they have own solution. They're at the village, there at where the way they live, they have they always find a solution for the different things that we have. Why don't we go there and then we take it and show to the world how the things work differently in another countries? I think it's the way it's a way that we can start from that. We can start from it, and then we can think to go around. We can think to go up. The second thing it's we think the one some I think it's the one who presented before me was saying that we as a researcher we used to think we think sometimes like ideologically we think as a academic, but what the people really think. Yes, we know that that's the point. Really, that's the point. Let's go there and feel what they want, but never forget we want to bring this knowledge to globally, or we want to bring this knowledge to work only particularly. If we want to bring this knowledge to work globally, we have to be able to learn from them how the things works, and we have to be able to present it and defend it on the global system, so that the global system can recognize that things, that practice. Because if we say that no, let's go there and we'll hear what they want, and then we stop from that side, in my own understanding, we think we lose opportunity to bring a different ways to how can I say a different ways even to academic behavior in the academic systems. So this is one thing. Secondly, go back to my country. I'm Mozambique. Sorry, I didn't say it before. Secondly, I said when we build our nation, we said that we have to kill the tribe to build the nation. These things of kill the tribe to build the nation, it's also meaning, in my own understanding, it means also another kind of violence. It's a violence against some tribe that have been killed. And then we oblige them we impose them a way to live. And this way to live, and this way how they have to be. We killed some, for example, in that time we killed a lot of traditional leaders were killed. A lot of churches were closed that time, but it was being made by us as the Mozambican people. It was not a Portuguese people who was making it. When we get our freedom, we used to kill that practice, and when we call that, we used to call them all Sangoma were killed. As long if we know that if the government knows that you are Sangoma, you are the one you are proposed to be killed. So how can we go now and tell these people that no, we were wrong, but now we need your knowledge to help our country to grow up? Because first of all, we kill them as a country. We kill them, and then now we want their knowledge before we apologize to them. In my own understanding, I think we as a country, we need to create a politics that first of all it will be used to link these elders, that some of them are still alive, that they can feel comfortable, because they still have some traumas of that because of that, or that the way that we acting before. And then if you invite them to bring their knowledge to town, and we sometimes as a researcher, we have these things that to go to the field, we collect some information, and we build our reports and our paper we publish without give. Sorry. We go to the field, we bring we collect information. So how we can take this information to why don't we think to include these practices as a first in our system of education? How we can include it? Because we have two things here. We have this official system of education, colonialism, but it's very interesting, these things of decolonize and so, because it comes with two things that in my own. Hello?
Go ahead, Marcial. Go ahead. You just 2 minutes to go.
Okay.
Thank you.
I was saying that, sorry. I was saying that we usually talking about decolonizing. I really love, for example, Ngungu Wantiogu when he says decolonize the mind and the language is instruments to talk. But let's not forget that we also have to appropriate that these things also. It's our, for example, Portuguese. It's when we speak Portuguese, we also appropriate with their culture. How, and when we speak English, for those who have English countries official language, they also have a English culture. And how we can combine, we used to say that let's decolonize it. How we can deal with, there's a lot of papers that present about language, but my case is we in this table we were presented, someone says that we need to take it to solve, we globally, we think globally, we think mass media and so on. My question is, we want to take our knowledge to global media, and we are talking about decolonize. What it's not two things different in what is decolonizing and what is global. Because in my own understanding, this all the mind that can trying to be universal, accepted as a universal thinker, it comes with a colonialism spirit. Everything that want to be universal, it's colonialism issues. As one thing that I can say that no, it's not colonialism. It's like it's universal that all of us will die. But another thing that comes trying to be universal, equal in all the world, it's colonialism issues. And then we are trying also to use the same Ghana that they've been using for us to impose our culture and our knowledge. We are not also trying to be a colonialist in different ways. That's the question that I wanted to raise to close this. And thank you for hearing me.
Well, thank you, Makomi. Thank you, everyone, for the contributions. I will invite Dr. Mikash and my Tejara Innocent to interact with both Mr. Makomi's presentation and the contributions from the discussants. I would ask you to please not go beyond 5 minutes, so we have time to allow our guests to say a word. They deserve to participate, at least if we can do that, would be more fruitful for us. So who is willing to, oh, okay. Mr. Innocent has already switched off his mic.
Okay.
So please go ahead.
Thank you very much. I think I'm very much happy that we seem to be all singing the same song while we talk about music, that we are our own destiny and also our own destruction as a people. And I was listening just to the last presentation, and he is clear that before we decolonize our own minds, and also because also we cannot continuously blame other societies and other cultures for coming on us so strong. It's also now us to go out there and also impose our own footprint on the world when it comes to our culture. We actually do have a footprint already, in the sense that you look at African music, when you look at worldwide, especially in the Western world, it is still something that is very marketable. Our culture is so marketable to other nations, to other countries, to other cultures, than it is actually marketable to ourselves and to our own people. So that already is a first step. African music is huge in Africa, in Europe, in America. Everyone wants to see our music, wants to hear our music, wants to play our drum, wants to play the mira, wants to play the shigubu. They want to buy it. They want to patent it. They want to do all these things. That's a first point. But we are saying we cannot continue to be treated as a tourist culture, full stop, as something that is there to be marveled at. We are saying we also need to empower ourselves and put ourselves in the systems, have policies that actually put our own culture, our own music, because you find that even in universities, we have this apologetic way of saying, in Europe, in other countries, in America, the African culture and African tradition has this apologetic sense of we are minor, we are less than other cultures, yet it can be empowered. So it's really up to us. I'm looking at a lot of responses that came up, and also Doc talked about policies like in Zimbabwe that are coming out, and what exactly and how are we putting them to practice? I actually referred to them in the paper too, that now it's up to us to marry our academics with our sources, who are our culture bearers, who are the community. And when we marry that and then come up with something that we are, Chigubu is there in Zimbabwe, actually. When you put across all those words, they make sense to me. We say isigubu in the belly. I saw isihlangu there. So the nice part or the beautiful part of African culture is that our languages, our culture is intertwined. You can actually tell one story and connect. And now it's up to us, really, as you look at us here, we are a panel. We don't have one single elder, one single culture bearer. So it's us as academics, us as we know, and not maybe next time we do it, let's also involve the community. Let's involve the ordinary voice, somebody who probably doesn't know a theory or anything. Then we will get the real solutions to what we want to achieve. I thank you.
Thank you. Yes, go ahead,
Thank
Nikesh.
Innocent, to making it clear. I think we have a big problem here because we are speaking English, the language of the the people who colonized us. We are also we were also colonized by Portuguese, so our official language is Portuguese. My expectation is that one day we gathered here and we speak Shona, also Swahili or Ronga. That is my expectation. In order to do that, I think we need to go to local community and see how they do things. I think that can help us to create those policies that we really want to create. One of these days I was discussing with one of my colleagues, and I was suggesting that we have to put a subject here that is Mapiko or Nyau or Shigubu, and he was telling me, no, we cannot put that because, you know, we don't have papers, we don't have books that discuss about this, you know. that is why in my presentation, I suggested that one of the things that we need to do in order to create a curricula or develop policy is to research that. And I brought here one example, which is Shigubu. And I tried to show here that Shigubu is a name of the musical art, but it is also a name of the instrument. Shigubu is made up by many different things: dance, the environment, the social function of the purpose of the performers. All these things must be thought when we are trying to create a policy for our culture. So regarding to what Mr. Marcel said, we are saying here that we need to work with inclusion, and in order to be included, we need to be everywhere. In a very simple way, I can say that. So if we say now that we cannot put Shigub in radio or TV, we are saying what? So we need to think about that. We really need to be in social media. This is the other way to decolonize those places, because we need to see people playing that. Actually, the way of dancing will change, but in order to raise our voice, I think that we need to be in that place. Mr. I think Claire Vlancourt said something interesting. He said like this: when I go to the community and they ask those people if they really want to learn foreign music or their music, they say they want to learn foreign music because they already know about their music. This is one of the way our mind is colonized. So we have to work with that. How can we do that? We need to balance what is coming from outside with what we have here. But in order to work with our culture, we need to invite those stakeholder buried to school, because they know how to do that. They know how to teach. Not go into the community ourselves and think that we are ready to teach them. We need to invite those people to come to the academic institution, to come to our school and teach what they have as a knowledge, because they really have knowledge how to sing, how to play the instrument, how to dance, and we need to bring those people and work with them. We know that the system is corrupted, because they will tell that we need them to have master degree or PhD program in order to teach us. So we need to start how I can say, to deal with these problems in order to voice those communities. I think that's my opinion about this. We had a good starting today, I think.
Thank you. Because we are in a very important meeting at Unesco's World Conference, it's my opportunity to say Dr. Mikesh, because normally I just say Mikesh or Tatana Silambo. That's how I treat him. But now today is Dr. Mikesh. Dr. Mikesh. Thank you so much, all presenters and the discussants. Thank you for the audience who have took time to join us. And I would like now to invite the audience. I hope it was not by mistake. Pedro Sitoy had raised his hand. I hope he wanted really to speak. If not, I'll ask people to raise their hands and so we can discuss. But not a summary from all that have been spoken here. I will take from the last thing that Mikesh brought up. Why? I mean, we should bring the culture barriers to schools, to the institutions to teach their knowledge. But also we know that big barriers to do this because the policy would say they must have master's degree or teacher training or whatsoever. And we need to research. And I would add to this one, saying, why don't we take the school to the communities? Because it's possible to take the school to the communities. And we have the barrier. Who is going to give you a bus to take your students, a full bus with your students to visit culture bureaus, to learn from there on their own environment? Because we don't even know if the culture bureaus will feel comfortable coming to these buildings, because this is not their environment. And they cannot teach what is taught under the trees, under these walls. I mean, under these roofs. We don't know it. We need really to research. And it's just a take kind of provocation. How do we deal with policy? How do we help the politicians, decision makers, to strategize musical arts education, not only, but all the arts education? So I saw two hands. One, I think it's Mr. Madsen. Forgive me if I don't pronounce well the surname, because in Portuguese, we read this Nyamu, but if I read it as a Bantu language, I would say Namu, Namo. If it's correct, it's correct. And if it's not, please correct me. Pedro Stoy, did you raise the hand to ask for a word, or it was by mistake?
Oh, yes, I did.
Okay, thank you. And Mr.
Do you hear me?
Martson, yes. Mr. Martson, did you raise? You want to have the floor, right? Okay, so let's go to Pedro Sitoy, and whoever would like to contribute, please raise the hand. Thank you.
Good afternoon to everyone. I'm so sorry I came late because I'm not really feeling well from yesterday, and then I know I wasn't even. I thought I wasn't able to get in, and I came. But the first thing is to congratulate everyone who presented here. I did hear only one or two presenters. I heard Mr. Lucas and the other one. The last one, I cannot remember the name, but a Mozambican one. I heard this presentation. And to say that it was real good to see scholars, African scholars, Southern African scholars, joining themselves and talking about their culture. That is very important. From this point, we have to take on, because no one will do what we're supposed to do. It's only us who's supposed to do this work. And Makorokoto for who speaks short, Makorokoto for the presentation were good. And about the presentation of Mr. Mikas, Dr. Mikas, I heard Mr. Magwat, Phineas Magwat, I don't know if I'm pronouncing well the name, my friend Phineas Magwat, asking if Shigubu is philosophy, is a dance, is a music, and so forth. Yes, Shigubu, we say Shigubu, and you and Shona, you say Chigubu. Chigubu or Shigubu is really music, it's really dance, it's really philosophy of life, it's really everything, When we are dancing in Africa, we not dance only, we dance and we sing, and we do drama also. And we mix drama, we mix dance, we mix other arts in one way. That's why I'm saying it's also philosophy and so on. And the Chigubu in Zimbabwe, it's what you call mchongoyo. I think you remember that. When I was doing my GCM, I had mchongoyo. there are some factors which difference, but it's all the same, you know. Mchongo, Shigubu, and Lama, and other traditional dances and music are the same, are always the same. You know, we are Bantu, we are from the same place, and we do the same thing. You know, it's one to make sure that it's clear. Muchongoyo is Shugubu. Thank you. I'm done, Mr. Gove.
Thank you. Thank you. Someone else, but before I even go further, I'll read from Sonia. Because she wrote in Portuguese and some people cannot read in Portuguese, I'll just translate it, and those who can read Portuguese can read it in the text, in the text chat. Being SMEAM a Mozambican organization, why did it organize an event in other language than the official language of Mozambique? How do we remain, we who speak only Portuguese? I'm taking it short, but I will start by responding in Portuguese because the message was written in Portuguese and disclaiming the space for Portuguese integration, inclusion, which was brought forward by Dr. Maturi. Sônia, o evento é co-organizado entre a SMEAM e IASA. E IASA é de Zimbábue, e IASA fala inglês e nós falamos português, por um lado. Por outro lado, é evento da Unesco, entendido como coisa global. E sendo assim, era para integrar tantos outros. Infelizmente, tivemos constrangimentos porque deveríamos ter aqui um intérprete em tempo real, tanto que chama-se de interpretação simultânea, para facilitar este processo, mas na última hora e ficamos nesta situação. É só por isso, não é porque não reconhecemos o valor de Moçambique. Pesou mais o outro lado da língua, que é a língua inglesa, porque, para além de termos um parceiro que tem a língua como inglesa, os que dão-nos o espaço também são da língua inglesa. E há espaços que, para nós estarmos lá, temos que respeitar algumas coisas que vêm de lá, por um lado. E, por outro lado, nós queremos sair, comunicar com os outros. So I was explaining, Sonia, that this event is mainly organized by SMEAM because we are presenting the event, but it's a partnered event between SMEAM and IASA from Zimbabwe, whereas Zimbabwe speaks English and we speak Portuguese. And within all this, we are organizing an event for UNESCO, an event which is thought to be globally understood and should be joined by as much as more people from the world or all around the world. So unfortunately, we had issues with bringing a simultaneous interpreter. We failed to bring the translation on real time. Unfortunately, this was supposed to have been this way. But since I've not seen a hand, please raise a hand, whoever wants to talk. Peço para que quem quiser tomar a palavra, levante a mão. Enquanto isso, eu vou avançar com esta questão colocada pela Sônia. But, however, I see what we've been speaking is what Sonia is bringing up here, because especially the first presentation spoke about the language. And after Mika's presentation, I purposely also tried to shake on that issue, language. What language are we speaking? because even Portuguese in Mozambique, how many people speak fluently in Portuguese? Who can speak Portuguese very fluently that can understand what we're talking about here? And this is very important. If one watches Chigubu or Muchongolo, that's a language. How can we interpret? Who interprets Chigubu the way the indigenous Chigubu makers, players, dancers, appreciators, how do they make sense of Chigubu, each one of these, and how do we make sense of that? Has a language and a philosophy, of course, because within Chigubu there is an underlying philosophy, because it's used to transmit information, transmit thoughts, transmit ways of being and making things in our life. So this is a very important point that Sonia has brought forward to us. And just to close this part, it's that remind you that the book that will come out of this will be in both English and Portuguese to allow our own Portuguese speaking people to read. Otherwise, it will not make sense to publish. Então, eu dizia que a intervenção da Sônia é muitíssimo importante. É muitíssimo importante partindo do ponto de vista de que ela trouxe a questão da língua. E a primeira apresentação que tivemos falava justamente da justiça, da inclusão, e tocou a questão da língua. E o Micas, quando o Micas apresentou e eu intervim para fazer aquela ponte, eu foquei esta questão para agitar um pouco o debate, a língua, porque o Micas falou de Chigubu, mas não é o que diz no Chigubu. A própria dança em si é uma linguagem, é uma forma de comunicar. Quantas pessoas e como é que estas pessoas interpretam, como é que integram-se, como é que elas interagem com aquela língua. A maneira como nós, os acadêmicos, interpretamos Chigubu, será que faz sentido para as pessoas que fazem, vivem com Chigubu? Como é que nós pensamos que podemos lidar com isto? É esta questão que acho eu muito importante para esta discussão, razão pela qual um dos objetivos dos outcomes, dos resultados deste trabalho, é que nós nos propomos a publicar um livro, e a nossa proposta é de que o livro seja publicado em português e inglês, porque não faria sentido se publicássemos só em inglês. Então, tem que se fazer esforço para que possamos publicar em português e inglês, de modo que possamos todos fazer parte desta festa. Sônia, tenha o palco.
I will speak in Portuguese because Portuguese is my official language. Eu vou falar em português para dar uma experiência aos colegas que não falam português. Nós estávamos aqui, eu convidei alguns colegas que estavam na sala e depois saíram. Disseram, mas Sônia, esses estão a falar para quem? Essa foi a pergunta. Ngugi wa Thiong'o vai nos falar em seu livro Decolonizing the Mind and Moving the Center.
Sônia, desculpe-me, aqui temos que fazer este trabalho de me dar tempo para traduzir, porque se disseres tudo, então só vou resumir.
Sim, pode resumir, não tem nenhum problema.
Tá bem,
sim,
obrigado.
A não ser que você queira fazer tradução simultânea, não sei.
Simultânea, não tenho outro device, entro com o mesmo e-mail, porque eu haveria de fazer isso, mas tentei fazer isso, mas depois interfere.
Não se preocupe, você depois faz o resumo.
Tá bem.
Eu estou a tentar falar em português para os colegas que falaram em inglês, porque estavam aqui colegas, professores até inclusive, que eu passei o link para poderem participar. E depois disseram, Sônia, mas esses estão a falar para quem? Nós estamos a falar para nós, e sendo esse mesmo justamente o que eu havia falado, até mandei uma mensagem para o Micas para chamar a atenção a isso, mas depois passou. Então, ou seja, o que eu estou a falar para os colegas que falam inglês foi o mesmo que talvez foi para os colegas que falam ou não falam fluentemente o inglês. Isso faz, e nós estamos na academia. Então, quando Borges diz que tivemos que nos adequar à organização parceira para que nós pudéssemos fluir, também estamos nos submetendo à questão linguística e à questão regional também.
Sônia, eu pedi-te para fechares o micro, não foi o propósito. Desculpa, peço para ativares o micro se tiver ficado desligado. Yeah.
Sim, desligou-se aqui, desculpa.
Não, eu é
Então,
que mexi
isso para
sem
dizer o
querer.
que...
Eu também
Tá,
mexi sem
tranquilo,
querer.
só para
Yeah.
Tá, tranquilo. Só para tentar resumir, estamos na academia e estamos aqui justamente no exercício de negarmos o Ocidente, estamos no Ocidente. Estamos negando a colonização, estamos nos colonizando. Estamos negando... E neste lugar da academia, nós cometemos epistemicídio, nós cometemos a negação linguística, que é o meu lugar de pensar também. É o meu lugar de produção de conhecimento. Eu não penso em inglês, não penso em português, não penso em outra língua. Ora, se nós estamos no evento organizado por uma organização moçambicana em parceria, sim, poderia ter uma tradução de como você está fazendo neste momento. Agora, quando me diz que porque tivemos que nos adequar, então nós também estamos justamente a fazer aquilo que o Ocidente quer. Porque foi a Unesco a fazer. A Unesco, quer não queira, neste guarda-chuva maior em que ele se coloca como o guarda-chuva cultural, por que que vai impor o inglês ou o francês como língua de comunicação em todos os nossos lugares? Por que que não há um diálogo entre as línguas ocidentais, porque o português também é uma língua ocidental, porque nós precisamos, de alguma forma, nos comunicar, e nós estamos num discurso de descolonização e continuamos a nos colonizar. Só para chamar a atenção, que eu entendi tudo que se falou, mas eu falo pelos meus colegas que saíram, porque eles não se encaixaram no que estava se debatendo, e aí o que é que nós estamos fazendo? Estamos a discutir para quem? Estamos a discutir para o outro? Para que o outro nos veja? Para que nós possamos sair? Ou também nós precisamos de nos afirmar enquanto espaço de produção epistêmica, enquanto espaço de produção de conhecimento. Eu acho que há aí que se pensar um pouco, e Ngugi wa Thiong'o vai nos chamar muita atenção, isso o próprio McKinsey também, num dos eventos que teve no Brasil, pediu a tradução para o português, justamente para que os povos dialogassem, e não apenas ter uma língua como esse guarda-chuva maior, e há uma dominação linguística, e quer não queira, aí viemos a outras colonizações, que para produzir eu preciso do inglês, para publicar eu preciso de inglês. Por que eu não posso publicar na minha língua? Claro que se for em Moçambique são mais de 40 línguas, mas por que não na língua nacional? Só para provocar um pouco. Que eu falei em português aqui, queria ver o exercício dos colegas que não falam português, que foi o exercício dos meus colegas que acabaram saindo da sala daqui, e como é que eles se sentiram neste momento, e como é que isso poderemos colmatar nos próximos encontros aqui. Só para apimentar um pouco aí.
Tá, muito obrigado, Sônia. Professor Luca, antes de passar-lhe a palavra, vi que levantou a mão. Vou transmitir primeiro a mensagem da Sônia, vou resumir. Isso, temos 10 minutos ainda, dá para fazer isso. So, Sonia is suggesting us that since we must recognize that we are in a space of epistemological production and thought, to which language is key. So if SMEIAM is from Mozambique and the official language of Mozambique is Portuguese, people, when realize that SMEIAM is organizing the event, they thought they would listen in Portuguese. Therefore, she invited some colleagues of her from Brazil, lecturers, professors, and they joined it in the beginning. They had to go out the meeting. They had to exit the meeting because of the language issue. They did not understand. They asked themselves, to whom are they, the Mozambican people, the Mozambican organization is speaking? Because this is not Portuguese. So she then speaks about the linguistic negation. If we are denying our own language, because communicating starts from thought and in which language we think. in which language we organize scheme of our thought. How is it shaped? Is it in Portuguese or English or our own native language? So she's suggesting that this is a provocation for the next event and other discussions within the academy, since we are speaking about decolonizing and we are colonizing our own selves from a linguistic point of view. Dr. Lucas, pode tomar a palavra, se é que levantou a mão propositadamente para pedir a palavra, mas bem curto, porque ficamos agora com 8 minutos. Okay. Dr. Luca is not, Dr. Luca is not, I think he raised his hand by mistake. So I would invite the presenters to take, please, just 1 single minute for final words, starting from Mr. Innocent.
Okay, I just want to thank everybody who has been part of this process. Clearly, this is a learning process. I understand also Sonia's concern. It's very important also. And of course, we were bringing in an audience from Zimbabwe and from Mozambique. And it was crucial that maybe we address this. We sincerely apologize and we will look into this very seriously. That probably we have translators, and also even for people that may not understand Portuguese or English, that maybe we have Shona and Ndebele and even other indigenous languages that are actually there in Mozambique and in Portuguese. This is crucial, especially at conferences, but this is an initiative that I think should not end on our computers, on our phones. It's an initiative that I think we should take further. This is just one step in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Mikas?
Front. Well, I think everything should be starting from somewhere. Those guys who taught us Portuguese and English, they started from somewhere. If we have enough courage, we can also teach our language. So we need to get ready to start doing that and accept the change. That's all from my side.
Thank you. Marcial Macon.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. I would like also to thank all the colleagues that have presented with on this table, and all other guys, all other colleagues, also other researchers that were audience on this event. For me, as a last word that I can say is that let us think globally, but never forget where we come from and where we want to go, and where we are and where we want to go. When we start to think globally or from our singular, our cultural, our traditional, it will bring us to a good thing. So I think let us not forget where we come from, our roots, and let's take it to new for the community so that they can also get this knowledge, because we produce knowledge, epistemological issues, these all things, academic issues, not only for us. We have to take it for the community. And thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you. Rudo Matukuya, it's your turn. Rudo Matukuya, are you there? The floor is yours. Your 1 minute is now, or probably she's having issues with network. So I will forward the turn to Mercy. Take your 3 minutes final words as co-organizer and discussant.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone that joined our panel discussion today. As Africans, we see that we have the same challenges, and therefore it is up to us to continue having such kind of discussions in order to find viable solutions to the problems that I can say are universal to all African countries. And one of the solutions that came from discussion today is decolonizing our education systems. And also one of the presenters also, I think it's the last presenter, highlighted that if we are to win this war that we are all fighting, we need to learn from the global systems. And also, if we have learned from the global systems, it is then up to us to then make our own systems standard such that we can stand on the global platforms and defend them. So thank you so much. And I hope that as we go forward and as we take the step of publishing our book, we will all bear in mind all that we discussed today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And who else? Clelio? Did Clelio speak? No. Please, Clelio.
No, not yet.
Yes,
Yeah,
please, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to be and sharing this and making also part of this wonderful events. So I hope that we don't have to wait for the next year, for the next UNESCO conference to be together and share information. So thank you very much. More fire, more ginger.
Thank you. I thank you all, but Delissa, peço para abrir o teu microfone. Delissa?
Oi?
Yes. Fica aí mesmo, assim com o microfone aberto. So Delissa is the president of SMEIAM. I will ask her to give us 2 words. I'll translate for her because I don't want to force her to speak English. And Innocent is the president of IASA, or the director of IASA. After Delissa, I will ask Innocent to speak on behalf of IASA, not the presenter. Delissa, tem 2 minutinhos para falar em português sobre o evento, como na qualidade de presidente da SMEIAM. Eu depois vou traduzir, pode falar em português.
Bom, eu não tenho muito a dizer, é mesmo só congratular aos participantes, né, por este tema muito desafiador. Foi um tema muito bom, estarmos aqui a debater sobre isso. Parabenizar mesmo todos os participantes e acho que é uma coisa que a SMEIAM devia dar continuidade para as próximas oportunidades. E agradecer à Unesco e às outras instituições por este convite e esta parceria. Pode passar também a palavra ao vice-presidente, ao Micas, caso queira dizer alguma coisa.
Sr. Micas, gostaria de dizer alguma coisa como vice-presidente? Já estamos 17 horas, temos que no máximo daqui a 5 minutos fechar.
I can say that I'm very happy. We learn from mistake, and we will use all your suggestions in order to improve the next event. So we are very happy with you here. Thanks.
Mr. Innocent?
Não esquece de dizer que o professor Micas é o vice-presidente da SMEIAM, não lhe introduziste.
Vou.
Okay, I just want to thank everybody on behalf of IASA IASA is an organization that is working with a lot of young people and trying to empower them using music, using dance, and also to infiltrate especially arts and music education in institutions starting from schools until university. We're proud to be a partner of SMEM. And like I said before, I hope this is the beginning of a very long journey that we can go together. The first step matters. Thank you to the organizers. Thank you to Mercy. Thank you, Boresh. You've been in contact and making sure this event works. We learn from our mistake, like the president said too. And I know we all are here to make sure that we come up with something that works for us, for the people, for the community. And therefore, we will put together our minds and fix what we have to fix as we go forward. I look forward to not waiting to the next event of UNESCO to do the next thing too. Let's start now. Otherwise, time is not on our side. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you. Delisa was saying that she's thankful for everyone who made this possible. She's thankful to UNESCO. She's thankful to SMEAM, to which she's the president. Thank you to IASA and for the participants of this event. And she wishes that SMEAM and IASA can take further this initiative to continue to working together towards a good end, or towards our objectives, good end of our objectives. And o Micas praticamente repetiu o que a Delissa falou, que é agradecer por aquilo que fizemos, aprendemos com os erros e que não paremos por aqui, produzamos daqui recomendações que vão ajudar-nos a mudar e melhorar a nossa situação. E foi a mesma coisa repetida pelo senhor Inocente, que primeiro apresentou a sua instituição, IASA, lá no Zimbábue, que lida com crianças, faz a promoção da educação em artes musicais, olhando para a música local, tradicional, e ele também partilha a ideia de que não paremos por aqui, continuemos até que consigamos alcançar os nossos objetivos abraçados, sem ter que esperar a próxima oportunidade que a Unesco possa oferecer-nos. Em termos gerais, o nosso encontro está a terminar. Peço para que todos liguem as câmeras para fazermos a foto de família. Everyone, please switch on the camera so we can take that very beautiful picture, family photo. Just remind you, the book that we'll be publishing will be edited by Dr. Maturi and Dr. Emily Akunu. Dr. Maturi is from Zimbabwe, Dr. Emily Akunu is from Kenya, and will be prefaced, by Professor Bridget Shinoriri. I think I pronounced it correct. If I did not, I'm sorry.
Shinoriri.
Shinoriri. Okay, Shinoriri.
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. Okay,
but
then
I know that it's Bridget.
You are all invited. You are all invited to submit. Start thinking. The topic is the same. This topic of this event, this is our main topic. So start thinking in producing 6,000 words chapter. Everyone who will do the call, but for now we know we have this task to do. No matter if you write in Portuguese or English, because the book has to be published in the two languages, and we will translate to deal with the translation. For those who can translate by themselves, it's okay. But for those who cannot, please just write in English or in Portuguese. Então, estamos na reta final. O que vamos fazer agora é fechar. Peço para abrirem as câmeras. Delissa, abre a câmera. Mark Aranya, I see you there, and I'm happy to see you around. Aranya is from India. Mark Aranya is from India. So at least we reached Asia in this event. We have Mark Aranya with us. And please open Pedrito, Pedrinho. In Mozambique, we say Pedrito. In Brazil, they say Pedrinho, which is Peter. So please, Aranha, open your camera. We want to take the family picture with you as well. Moisés, abre lá. Yes, thank you. E estamos a fechar, vamos publicar um livro. Para além do relatório que vamos apresentar à Unesco, vamos publicar um livro, contribuição, uma coleção.
Já levou a foto?
Não, ainda. Estou à espera de ver
Faça,
mais
professor.
caras.
Ah,
Sim,
faça.
calma. Eu estava a chamar as pessoas. O professor Lucas sei que não está. O Clélio caiu, por exemplo, está a voltar. Agora estou a levar a foto incompleta do... Okay, I got it. Wait. Let me try again. This one was not good. Was not good enough. It was good, but not good enough. Então, peço para que comecem a pensar nas vossas contribuições. Um capítulo de livro. Quem participou, o tema do livro, o título do livro é este tema que nós temos aqui. Este é o título do nosso livro. Então, comece a pensar na base das discussões que tivemos aqui, o que é que gostaria de escrever, as suas reflexões. O livro será publicado em português e inglês. Se só sabe escrever em português, escreva. Se só sabe inglês, também escreva. And okay, I'm taking the pictures. Yes, I got it. Thank you so much. And after this, you are all dismissed. Big hug for everyone.
Tchau, Mangwana.
Nice
All
to
right,
see you,
thank
Mark.
Josona.
See you next time.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you.
See you.
Bye, Borges. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I thank you. I thank you, Mark.
Mr. Innocent, how is Zimbabwe?
He's gone. It's not here.
It's gone already.
My
What about Magwat?
my Tizara is gone. All my Tizaras are gone, are not here.
Are gone already.
Yes.
Rudo,
But
how
at
is
least-
Zimbabwe?
At
Yes,
least
from
Mercy is
Zimbabwe.
here.
How are you?
Tirip Makadie.
Sirikwedu.
Yeah, doing well. I wasn't feeling well, but I'm getting well.
Oh, speedy
Yeah.
recovery to you.
Thank you. Okay, I miss Zimbabwe, you know. One of these days I'll be there, you know, before the end of the year.
You must come and visit.
I'll see you.
I want
You must come
to
and
go
visit.
to Kariba now, to Kariba, not to Vic Falls.
Wow. That
Rudo,
would be nice.
Rudo, Mercy is coming
I
to
hope
Mozambique.
when
They know it's
you come to
okay.
Vic Falls,
I don't
it
have
will
to
be
go
great
to
because-
Zimbabwe.
I would love to come to Mozambique. We want to visit all the countries.
We're waiting for you, Mercy. Rudu also, we're waiting for you.
Mercy is
We'll
coming to
come to
Mozambique,
visit.
I'll come
so
with Messi.
I don't have to go to Zimbabwe.
Make sure
But
if you have workshops, invite us.
But you have to know that in Zimbabwe there are wonders, you know, like Victoria Falls.
Yes.
No,
true.
my Tijaras just told me what I have to do is to bring
Cows.
yes, cows. This will come later because I don't have cows in Zimbabwe.
That's nice.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah,
thank you. Bye.
it's good to meet you guys. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Do your presentation
Bye.
right away. And I will not bring any summary abstracts or do the